Well, joining us from the Economic Progress Alliance is Mr. Jim Becker. Hi, Jim. How are you?
Luke, how you doing?
Good. Good to see you this morning.
You too.
It's been a while.
It's been a little while.
Yeah, we'll get caught up here in a second. But wow, some exciting breaking news developing the last couple days involving Conneaut Lake Park. Kind of give us a rundown of everything that's set it up for us and explain what's going on.
Well, as you know, we closed down last year because of the pandemic. Honestly, to try to put together all the requirements and restrictions that were put in place to open an amusement park in the midst of a pandemic was really not in the cards for the trustees.
They didn't even sell the deck.
Yeah, it was not great with the scenarios, the way it was playing out.
And I think you were on during that time, and you said, I mean, you guys looked at everything.
Oh yeah. We explored, I think, every possibility that we could. There was a couple of other small amusement parks that closed down for the season as well going in, but then some of the ones that waited and opened up, like a Waldemere and Cedar Point and Kennywood, and those types, opened up later in the year, and they really struggled as the year went along. So the trustees made the right call, in my opinion, to shut it down for that summer period. We also shut down things like the Pumpkin Fest celebration over there in Conneaut Lake, as well as Ghost Lake, the big haunted house event. All those things really take a toll on the bottom line for the trustees.
And for all those organizations involved.
Oh yeah, it was not good. I mean, and it's still not good. But the communities and businesses around the community over there that counts on Conneaut Lake Park being open really took a little bit of a beating with the visitors that weren't flowing in there as normal. And coming off of 2019, we had a record year again, year over year, and things were really going well, and we were really excited about leading into the 2020 season.
You guys had a lot of momentum. I mean, really, what you guys were doing over there was just incredible. And not to brag while you're here, but there's a lot of people that didn't think it could get to that point. A lot of people doubting, the viability of that park, and
honestly, one of the things we found when we were doing zip code studies of who was coming, who wasn't, the last people to come back were Crawford County, Meadville area in particular. Those zip codes were the last ones to come back. We were being truly supported again by Youngstown, Ohio, Cleveland, Buffalo, Erie, Pittsburgh, those primary markets that they were back in 2019 and continue to increase. And we were working hard to get the Meadville area and Crawford County in particular back, and those zip codes back into supporting the park as well. And they were starting to come back. And then the pandemic hit. So that leads us into the end of last year. Just before the holidays, we ended up talking with an individual who was involved with some other property purchases within Crawford County and started inquiring about Conneaut Lake Park. So we met with him, had several long discussions with him, and ultimately this gentleman made an offer on all assets of Conneaut Lake Park.
Wow.
Yeah, great thing. We took that to the trustees, and they made the decision, because we're in bankruptcy, that the trustees have to move that forward to not only the judge, but the secured creditors and their legal representation. Say, here's the offer we got. What do you think? So we did that, but because that offer was made privately, if you will, and we've never advertised the park for sale, and we're in bankruptcy. All those three things wrapped up into this nice little package that we needed to take it through bankruptcy court again to get approval from the judge. Because part of this, a lot of people are getting hung up on the word auction.
Yeah.
It is a auction piece to this bankruptcy proceeding, but it's literally for the better and higher offers. The secured creditors are not going to get paid probably 100% of what's owed, but close. So they have to buy in on the process. If we take it and by doing it this way, there's an advertising, there's a process, there's an approved process by the judge of what a qualified bidder is, what is a qualified bid. There was a virtual court hearing yesterday where the judge approved all of those procedures. So we're ready to move forward now. With anyone else who might be interested in exploring an opportunity to also make a bid on all assets of Conneaut Lake Park. But the current gentleman that we have in place in his holding company is, they're telling us they want to run everything as an ongoing concern, wants to extend the contracts of the hotel operator and the concessions guy, and looking at the expansion of camperland and all the things we've already had permitted and ready to go in place.
So you've had those discussions. Obviously, there's nothing you can do once, if this happens, it happens, but it's a solid plan.
It is a solid plan, and there are deed restrictions on the property as well that go with that property and carry. The judge has not, we have not asked, nor has the judge waived any of those deed restrictions. The state attorney general is part of that discussion and part of that process, and that's the person who has the public use and public provision looking out for the best interests of the public and the park. And they are not opposed to the sale from the way it's being presented right now. So we're cautiously optimistic. The next few weeks are going to be probably a little busy as we get people who are express interest, and then we qualify them to be a qualified bidder. The court has put out there that they want to see a bank statement or a letter from the bank, their bank, saying they have the capacity of $1.3 million in cash, because this deal that we have is a cash offer. And then from there, we'll go through the due diligence part, providing all the documents, profit and loss statements, balance sheets, the deed, everything that they can review and take a look at. And then they have until February 19th. On February 19th, they got to put $50,000 in an escrow account with the attorneys down in Pittsburgh with their bid. The 22nd or 23rd of February, right in there, they'll be notified that they're a qualified bidder 3 days prior to the court date, which is now scheduled for March 2nd or 3rd. I think it's March 2nd. They'll be required to deposit another $450,000 in the account, in the escrow account. So we're taking all the provisions we can to ensure that we have that we proceed to a closing. We're not just going through a process. That the people that are interested, expressing interest, have the capacity and are ready to close.
So some checks and balances sort of along the way here.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. It's an exciting time. The trustees are excited, but the trustees have put a lot of time and effort. The staff of the Progress Alliance, who has worked as the management entity for the park, I mean, there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that have gone into that, building it up. So it's kind of with a little bit of mixed emotions that this is all going forward.
Yeah.
But from the beginning, we've always said, my predecessor said that the intent here is to turn it back to private sector hands. Running an amusement park as an economic development entity is really not in our wheelhouse. When we go to conferences, when we used to go to conferences and meet with our counterparts across the state, that they're like, and you run what? So
don't ask.
Yeah. But it's
funny because I've seen that with you and even some of the other staff members you've brought through. It's kind of like, well, we never thought we would be doing something like this, but we are, and it's enjoyable. It's stressful, but
oh yeah. Summers prior to 2020 summer were very long.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 7 days a week when you count the real job. And then handling issues out at the park, but we've proven that it can run and operate. 5 years of P&Ls and balance sheets of double-digit growth. We put in the marina. The last year was about 1.4 in revenue from basically May to Labor Day, wow, plus a couple of events. But that's a pretty good number to turn in a short period of time, a few months during the summertime. But it's a proven asset for the community and the county, and this is the next evolution of turning it back to private sector. The secured creditors being paid off, coming out of bankruptcy, the whole 9 yards. So we're proud of what we've accomplished there, but we still got a little work to do to finish it up.
You mentioned some dates. When could an announcement be made that here's the person that's taking over?
We expect on the hearing on I believe it's March 2nd. The hearing on March 2nd that there will be a bid winner announced during that process, during that Zoom call. It literally turns into, we have a $1.2 million offer. The next person in, if there is one, has to come in at 1.3, And then there are $50,000 increments in a bidding process between any number of bidders that happen to be qualified bidders and want to bid on the property. And then the judge will make the decision on better, higher offer, better, higher use, and then award the assets of Conneaut Lake Park free and clear without any of the liens and things like that to the winner of that bid process.
Beginning of March.
Yeah,
we're looking forward to that.
And we asked for an expedited hearing, giving the eventual winner of this an opportunity, if they are going to try to open the park, COVID dependent, giving them all the opportunity to try to get geared up and ready for the season.
Wow, that's great. You're watching the Morning Drill on Stream Television and on Armstrong's Neighborhood Channel and listening to it on the Allegheny News Talk Sports Network. Jim, we mentioned sort of the downside of the pandemic, but the other side of that, people are coming to rural America to get away from the cities.
Yes.
And people are discovering some quiet places, things you can do, bike trails, hiking trails, the waterways.
Yeah, absolutely.
So really, this is a good time to be making an investment like this.
Yeah, and on the other side, for the Progress Alliance, we also have this French Creek project that's ongoing, and that takes into account all the things that you're talking about, all the outdoor recreational activities that are involved in Crawford County. And our focus was along the French Creek corridor down by through Bessemer, where Voodoo's production facility is. But when you start adding in all the trail connections, you start adding in the other bodies of water that are within 5 miles, 6 miles of that French Creek location, the state over the road biking systems, we're putting all those pieces together for outdoor enthusiasts, if you will, to be able to come to Crawford County and partake in not only one but several outdoor related activities. When you start talking canoe and kayaks and even boat rentals at the larger bodies of water like Conneaut Lake or Pymatuning.
Have you gotten any information from like the Visitors Bureau? Have they said, boy, we've seen an increase, or last summer was busy in these areas? Or?
The Visitors Bureau just had a recent changeover.
Yeah.
So I don't know that people were coming into the area and announcing their presence.
Right.
They were like coming into the place. Yeah, they're coming in, staying in campgrounds, and they were staying in.
I don't know if I'm allowed to leave the state.
Yeah. So it was. I don't know if we saw a large influx, but there was blatantly people traveling in and around all over. But I think it was maybe quieter than normal.
Right.
But yeah, our campground was full with what were called residential campers. They were there for the entire season. We did not do overnight stays. We did not have people coming in on a Friday and leaving on a Sunday. We just didn't do those types of options, didn't make them available. But yeah, that was a whole nother process dealing with, we talked with the CEO of the Meadville Medical Center, because that whole scenario, if there was a COVID outbreak, it's recorded back to their home counties. Conneaut Lake never would have known.
Yeah.
So we were trying to discuss with the CEO of the hospital how we could even get through that if something like that happened and we had to shut it down. How would we know? And it was quite a process to work with them.
Well, we have a couple more minutes with you. Let's get caught up on some other things. You've been able to plug away at other projects during this time?
Oh yeah, we've been in the middle of the big construction project has been Cockerton, the old Dunn's building. We've renovated the whole back side of that building that currently has a bank, a pharmacy, and a physician's office from Meadville Medical Center. The physicians have expanded to add another medical provider. The pharmacy is expanding as well, and we created 2 vanilla boxes, 1,500 and 1,600 square feet. Hudson Properties is building their senior living facility right beside our building in Cockerton.
Wow.
That building is up. They're under roof. They're working inside, and it's looking really well. I'm guessing there'll be a ribbon cutting there probably in the early summer, but they're moving right along. So that end of town in Cockerton is really coming together nicely. We did some exterior renovations on that building as well, but that's about to be wrapped up. There will be. We just received the former Crawford Renewable Energies project has reemerged under another name and another process and another project. That is a massive investment in Crawford County, about $165 million.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be big. And they were just awarded a a RAC P, $2 million RAC P that will assist with the development of that project. So there's plenty going on. We've been very fortunate. We only we house 50 companies in our different sites and facilities. We had one that we've lost, which is Universal Well Services. Universal, though, was downsizing as it was with what was happening with the natural gas industry prior to the pandemic. But we, for the most part, our manufacturers are doing well. Bars, restaurants, breweries, and wineries are not.
Right.
We've been in the middle of that, lobbying with the legislators and lobbying with the executive level governors, cabinet, on programs that are needed or things that are needed to assist those peoples and the people and families who are running those businesses. So we've been trying to stay abreast of all that and try to keep pushing as hard as we can. But we hope that we're going to see something here soon out of the state in particular with a package that's going to be targeted towards that industry.
With what you're seeing, and I know these stupid questions. I have a magic 8 ball. I could ask that and get, maybe a 50-50 chance of getting the right answer. But are we looking at major challenges again this summer as we get close to summer, or do you think it'll be a little bit better than what we had last year?
I'm trying to be real optimistic. I did not like the news that we just heard the other day about, or it may have been yesterday, the purchase of 200 million more vaccines. That's great news. The federal government's purchasing more, but the delivery time was estimated to be the summer.
Yeah. Was that between the two, Pfizer and
that was Pfizer
Moderna?
And Moderna. Yeah, that doesn't
Johnson & Johnson will be coming out. The other thing that and again, there's so many things out there, but they're saying that if you factor in the vaccinations and the ones who have already been exposed to it, you could have herd immunity a lot sooner than what they're saying.
Yeah, I definitely do not try to pose as some kind of public health
and I don't mean
expert.
to put you in that position.
But our main goal is really to just try to help these companies where we can, and I personally have probably not made many friends in Harrisburg in the past 6 months.
I'd go years, Jim. You fight hard for the area.
Well, the problem is nobody has any answers right now, and that's frustrating for them. And we have a lot of friends down in Harrisburg who are working hard. They really are, and some of them just don't have answers. And when that happens, I think it's frustrating for everybody. Not only us on our end, the delivery side of this, them on their end, and the companies who are asking the questions and not getting answers. And they're really just looking for some answers to help them plan. How do we do this? Can we do this? Should I invest in outdoor dining to then only have outdoor dining taken away? I was trying to remind people in Harrisburg that around Thanksgiving, our outdoor dining up here in northwestern Pennsylvania is pretty much done. We're done.
They tried. And we had some decent weather this year, too.
So. Yeah, we had a great year for weather.
Well, Jim, we'll have to have you back.
Sure.
Good to see you. Good luck with everything, and congrats.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thanks.